Welcome to the Texas Truck Channel. I'm Craig, and we're at the hill again, and oh, we've got a good one. It's another crossover that is marketed as it should be able to do this. We'll see about that. Brian, what do we got?
Oh man, we actually have one of my favorite road-going mid-size SUVs. This is a 2023 Kia Sorento. This one's loaded out. I'll show you guys right here. It's the X-Line / XS - Prestige all-wheel drive. It's wolf gray with, it says black interior. It is not black. Those are saddle leather seats. Bold face line to us. Total price is $46,000, and I want to point out the most important part right here, Craig. 2.5 liter turbo, 281 horse, 311 torque, all-wheel drive with a center locking differential, which actually means the clutch logic will change a little bit. It doesn't ever actually lock up fully, but it does effectively for what you need to do, lock up enough. Now, the downside, Craig, is there's 2 more clutches involved there, and that's the 8-speed dual clutch transmission, which is phenomenal on the highway, debatable off-road, and I guess we're just gonna find out what happens. So,
now, okay, now, Brian, though, X-Line and wolf gray, like it should make
okay.
it, right?
I think you're onto something here. Look, I don't know, is this a Wolverine car? Could he do this? I don't know, maybe it happens. Look, let's talk about dimensions real quick. The approach angle, while it looks pretty good, there is an air dam low enough down here that makes this a 16.9 approach angle, which is kind of shallow, but at first glance, we've had 20-degree vehicles look worse than this, so I don't know. The true test is going to be that hill right there behind us. We're going to find out.
The good news is there's not like a low protruding dam. That might,
right.
maybe.
Right. I mean, well, we can be a little more aggressive, knowing we might roll back if there's not a dam there. When there is a dam, we push it up.
It just scoops.
If we scoop, that's where damage can happen, and we're really apprehensive about that. So, and as we do with all these rigs, we're not going to break it. We're going to take it easy. Craig's going to spot heavy. We have to. The other thing we have is the breakover angle is about 17 degrees, give or take. And I think the departure angle is over 20. That's great. So R mode might be a thing. I've got a feeling that the dual clutch will be the limiting factor. But let's check out what hits the road first. Man, they look actually really good when they're clean. Looks like Craig has been rallycrossing this thing. It's pretty dusty. Hard to say. The good news is you have flat black cladding on your fender liners, and you have a strut design suspension. Very simple, affordable, and effective. Lighting's awful. Let's swap around real quick. The bad news, Craig, is these 20s probably look good. They don't help you off-road because there's not much rubber there. It's all metal wheel. So if you're serious about off-roading this thing, well, airing down's not gonna be much of an option unless you change out wheels and tires. But again, I think the dual clutch is gonna tell you a lot about intent here. This is probably an inclement weather off-roader, not a rock crawler or wheel in the air vehicle. I digress. Let's see. I do want to show people something real quick that has changed since the last time we filmed out here, and that is rain. We had a bunch of rain recently, and this got real choppy. And I'll be honest, I did a little bit of off-roading here of my own vehicles this weekend to just test it out, and it is loose. It is way looser than it was a week ago.
Really silty and much looser than it used to be.
Yeah.
Especially right up in here.
And this is the concerning part here. If you had these divots, these are from our previous tests, but everything around them, they've been holding water. It's just gonna get, when you get a car in here, it's gonna tear it up. We're just gonna see. We've kind of had a new obstacle compared to last week. It's not the same spot.
It looks like it's gotten a little hard, but maybe the bypass is smoothed out a little bit. So.
That's a good point. That tapered line might be easier, which is probably this thing's best chance. The straight approach angle might be a problem, so let's go check out the goodies inside.
All right, as Brian's getting in, one thing we've noticed that might help the off-road is these roof rails. These roof rails, the way they'll help is it'll get you a better picture on Instagram, which is gotta help you get up the hill.
Look, this is all about the Instagram campsite accessibility. That's what all-wheel drive brings to the people. I do want to show you driving modes. I'm going to turn this fan down real quick. Oh, haptic touch, just what nobody wanted. Okay, anyways, coming down here, we do have great ventilated seats. That is nice. In the middle, you've got drive modes. Comfort, Sport, Eco, and the only off-road themed mode is Snow right here. You do have a center diffing lock, or locking diff, and that is really all you have in terms of everything here. You do have a hill descent control, but that's not going to help here, and that's honestly not really going to get you where you weren't going to go before.
It is very surprising to have a hill descent, center locking, but no off-road mode, really.
Yeah, and my concern...
Not even like a sand or something.
Yeah, you would think it would have that, because that's simply a programmable thing. It's not a hardware change. We have seen this system.
The dual clutch. I think that's why.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
They
may know the limitations. Look, but we've had the torque converter version, well, the Telluride, kind of the same themed system, and it struggled with a cross-up situation. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah. All right, well, we're gonna get up there. Let's see. That dual clutch is gonna be the hardest thing, plus that approach. So, and the tires. Well, there's a lot of things not working for this, so let's just see what happens. All right, like Brian said, we have a little bit, the rain has really changed this up a little bit. It's much looser and silty than it was. So we'll see what happens. We might start breaking traction sooner than we used to, although the all-wheel drive is getting it past the normal spots that cars slow down. And one of the hardest things here is it's hard to creep a dual clutch. It is constantly trying to work it. And that's going to be a problem. So kind of as expected, this is the problem with the 16-degree angle. It's just, well, we can't go any farther because if we go any further, it's just going to rip that off. That goes up a little more than you can tell on camera, but so that's not going to work. Let me see if I can get over here and talk to Brian without falling. Okay. Brian, our problem is, well, you got to the obstacle, great.
No problem, by the way. I forgot to tell them what we started in. I left in smart mode, which is like auto. Okay. And then traction off and 0 wheel slip in a straight line at least.
0 wheel slip, and you didn't even do the center lock.
No center lock.
That's quite impressive.
And I left foot broke right as I got close to it. I used the 360 camera, which is actually really good. I just can't tell where the bumper is at. That's why you need a spotter still. But the clutch was already starting to do it was feathering and it wasn't giving up, but I can tell heat was starting to, that's where it comes from. So
yeah, that dual clutch, it's really hard to creep a dual clutch and a turbo. It's not the best operating.
Oh man, really a lot of variables going on there,
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to creep in a parking lot, so I can't imagine going up a hill.
Well, true. No, nice. I don't smell clutch yet. That's good though. It's good news.
Bad news is we're not going to make it up to this obstacle, so we're going to have to do the hybrid, but let's see if the smoothed out hybrid works.
Ooh.
So we got it crossed up now.
Okay, hold on. I've got a lot of wheel speed. Okay, so I've got really uncontrollable amounts of wheel speed. This left tire is just going to town. Left front, I don't know what the right rear is doing, but...
Same thing.
Okay, same thing. I'm not giving much throttle. The turbo's kicking in and the clutch is fully engaging and it's just going to town.
It's going crazy.
So I'm gonna try and put traction on and see if that can kind of control itself a little bit.
Okay, don't reset your line because your approach looks okay right now.
Okay, good angle, okay. All right, okay, so traction's back on.
Wait. Okay, approach looks good, traction on, go for it. Still spinning those wheels, traction's helping some.
All right, let's try snow mode.
Okay, so do you want to go to center lock or change modes?
I want to do both because I feel like I'm getting a lot of left wheel speed and not as much in the right rear. Let's lock the center.
Okay, so now what that does, it's supposed to do.
It's supposed to make it 50-50 front to rear. Now it's still a clutch pack, it's not an actual pin lock. So if there's an emergency, it can deviate a little bit, but it makes the shift algorithm very aggressive to keep it 50-50 as much as it can.
Sure.
And then I think we need to try snow mode as well because we've just got unruly amounts of wheel speed that we know how these dual clutches are. We only have so many attempts till they overheat. So,
and what snow mode does, it basically just throttles everything down.
Right, it should dumb that spiky throttle is what I'm trying to do. Okay. So,
hang on. All right. You can see it breaking this wheel more. It's trying. Still good, still good. Brian, I think we knew what was going to happen there.
Well, the engine died. What happened there was the clutch let go, and I'm turning the sensors off. And then in the process, it actually died. It's not auto start stop. It's actually just the engine's died. So we're going to put it back in park and see if we can recycle it. Yeah, no problem.
No warning lights?
No warning lights at all. So what happened was it basically went to a panic mode. Too much throttle, not enough wheel speed, or too much wheel speed, and it just said, dump the clutch. Don't dump it, and disengage the clutch completely to save itself.
It saved itself.
Okay,
yeah.
so do you think we have enough approach angle to try a pinch of momentum? Because being a dual clutch, I don't think we're going to crawl this very well.
No, you're not going to crawl it very well. You could try it, but...
Like 2 mile an hour, and then you tell me exactly when to turn.
All right, so we're going to reset here a little bit because the dual clutch is not letting us creep. See if we can do like 2 mile per hour momentum and see what happens with a safe approach here. Run, come back. Where are you going?
The engine died again.
So it does a good job of saving itself.
Yeah, so hold on real quick. All right, we're in park. So it's not, that's a part of its fail-safe is we can't control flywheel speed versus clutch engagement and varying wheel speeds. It just kills everything.
Interesting way to do it, because a lot of cars will start giving you a lot of warnings, a lot of beeps, and maybe just not let you go, not give any more throttle.
Yeah,
this just cuts it off.
I've never seen that actually.
That's interesting.
It is very interesting. I'm gonna try one more mode. I'm gonna put it into comfort because snow mode's almost hampering it too much.
Okay.
If this doesn't work, we're gonna have to do bypass.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so we can't left foot brake at all. I was trying to do the left foot brake wheel lock a little bit. Just won't do it, just cuts everything as soon as you do that. So I think it's fair to say this is not gonna make it past our campsite threshold, but there is the mall crawler threshold. I think it can handle that.
So let's do the mall crawler. We're gonna reset. Before you go up here, let's kind of talk what modes we're doing on that.
Okay, got it.
You can see here, we tried to get up here and we just spun this wheel like crazy. And same thing inside here, it just couldn't get past it. Just not enough with that. Transmission is just not designed for that, and that's our problem.
Look, I just heard you say transmission is not designed for that. Kia made a choice when they did this.
Yeah, that's fine.
And they chose against CVT, and I will defend that forever.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're being honest about what people are doing with this thing, and it's an incredible road going vehicle. I would still pick this transmission over a CVT or a poorly programmed auto.
Look, I drove this thing on some dirt roads at speed, and those snappy shifts and the all-wheel drive were amazing. So it's a good choice. It's just not designed for rock crawling.
Right. If you're going rock crawling, you're not buying this anyways. Right. So there's no problem with that. And also, it's got more velociter in this thing than it does Jeep Wrangler, and I appreciate it for that.
It's a lot of fun to drive.
It's a ton of fun to drive.
But, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the bypass here. We still have a pretty decent angle or steep approach.
Yep. And there's no low range.
No low range. So we're going to go back to normal.
Yeah, I think basically we'll put it in smart. Actually, I want to stay consistent. I'm going to put it in comfort. So you have comfort and sport. Sport's really snappy. Comfort's kind of like a little subdued.
Well, so do what you did on the first one. Just put it back to no traction control.
Restart?
Yep.
All right, traction off. Smart mode. Diff lock is off. And we're good to go, but traction is not going to help aid the tire's wheel spin. It's going to just let it do what it does.
I bet you it makes it because it got to the obstacle earlier. Fine. Yeah. Let's see what happens here.
All right.
You're going to go as slow as you can, but hard to do.
2 miles an hour is the target.
Okay. This is where it gets really steep. It's going to really test the transmission here.
It's still slipping like it should.
No wheel slippage. Oh, there's a little bit, but it made it fine, just kind of as we predicted. All right, Brian, well, that basically proves that you can get to the state park campsite, not a problem.
There you go, exactly.
But Rubicon Trail, maybe not designed for that.
Not for that. Look, if you're camping in Texas, you'll be fine. That's the real answer. If you're in Utah, just be careful where you go, that's all. I do want to point out there are some interesting things that just happened there going up that hill. That's why we do that test. In a dual clutch, it's really hard to maintain a speed that low. Because it is, at 1 and 2 miles an hour, it's slightly slipping the clutches just to make sure you don't go too fast. And with this type of transmission and gear ratio, it actually, with a consistent throttle input, I was keeping it, I was actually at 3 miles an hour because I couldn't keep it at 2. It was slipping too much. It hit the incline and it went to 0. Basically, it was like, we're not sure what to do here. I gave it full throttle and it said, okay, and it dumped clutch and it got up. That's where the wheel spin came from. But it did it, and look, no warning lights whatsoever. I want to show the people. We have had, every dual clutch we've put up this hill before has had a problem.
We've had some full-size trucks have warning lights.
Well, we've had more than one of those. So look, I commend it.
There.
Yeah, it works, and the crotch stillers work just fine whether you're sitting still or you're moving.
You're very comfortable.
I'm very comfortable. This is great.
Okay, so not the worst choice, but it's not a rock crawler. We knew that. That's why we do these tests. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like, and leave us the comments and tell us how bad a driver he is.
Come on, man.
What?
Don't tell him to do that.
Okay, how bad a spotter I am. There you go.
There you
Thanks
go.
for watching.
Thanks for watching.